Just extend a welcome to everyone with gratitude for being with us, whether it be the live session or watching the recording later. I wanted to share something that I made that's going to be present with Crystal in this time, and it's a bowl, a rope bowl. And I made it thinking of Sharon. It's made out of a used climbing rope. I know Sharon used to be a climber, and there's some flowers that sort of represent Hawaii on the side. And you can't see it very well, but in the center, underneath the candle, Crystal, there's a stone set in the center of the rope. And that represented to me both the earth and the strength of a stone, sort of centering and grounding this bowl. There's one other thing I wanted to share. If you're familiar with climbing, there's a beautiful piece of communication that happens before you go up on a climb. And it's someone says, belay on, and the person who's got the safety system says on belay. And the person who's climbing says climbing. And the person that's holding them safe says, climb on. And so it's sort of a communication that says, are you going to help keep me safe? And the person holding the other end of the rope says, I'm going to keep you safe. I'm going to hold this end of the rope and keep you safe. So I'm thinking that as a community, we're holding Sharon, we're holding the other end of the rope and saying, we're going to hold you in this space. We're going to hold you in our hearts, in the safety of our breath and our practice tonight. We've got you. And this rope bowl is a symbol of that, that's going to be present with us tonight. And then it will be given to Sharon to have just as a representation of this holding energy that we're creating and contributing to.
Beautiful.
And as I said, we're coming together for a time of movement and healing to honor Sharon. We invite you to participate in the exercises in whatever way feels right for you. You're welcome to take a break at any time, adjust the exercise, participate, or just sit and watch. Be present in whatever way feels right. Let your body guide you in whatever feels most comfortable. You can stay as long as you like. If you need to leave early, that's okay too. We hope this is a healing experience for everyone. Healing to your heart and healing to your body, and certainly extending that healing and love towards Sharon.
So just want to repeat that welcome again to everybody. It is so great to see those that are here, and I know that many more will be listening to the recording afterwards. So welcome to everybody. We just like to invite you to get comfortable on your mat or the floor, wherever you would like to lay down. We're going to be starting tonight with a light stream grounding and centering technique. And after that we do this exercise, you'll go right into the restorative yoga with Crystal. So just invite you to lay down and get comfortable. If you prefer to sit, you're welcome to do that too. Whatever feels right for you. So finding that comfortable place, your eyes can be open or closed. Whatever feels right for you. And I just invite you to take a moment, just let yourself arrive. Just taking a breath, just being here tonight. Just getting comfortable wherever you are, laying or being seated. Notice your breath as you breathe in and out. Just let it begin to flow with ease. Now I invite you to scan your body. Just notice if there's any areas of tension, Maybe there's even some tightness. Just notice that. And then notice any areas that feel soft or light. As you scan your body, just see what body sensations or emotions are needing your attention the most right now. It may be an area of tension or tightness, or it may be a feeling that's arising for you. You might notice some apprehension as we get started tonight. Maybe some sadness in what brings us together. Or maybe a feeling of compassion and love with an open heart. If you're not sure what needs your attention the most tonight, just ask. Ask inside and wait for the answer. Now that you know what needs your attention the most, I invite you to focus on where you feel that in your body. If it had a shape, what shape would it be? If it had a size, what size would it be? If it had a color, what color would it be? If it had a temperature, what temperature would it be? Hot, maybe cold. If it had a texture, what texture would it be? If it had a sound, what sound would it make? Imagine now that a bright and healing light has begun to form overhead. This light can be whatever color you want it to be, whatever you associate with healing, happiness, goodness, or any other positive quality. For some, it may even be a white light. If you don't like the idea of a light, you can simply think of it as a color, an essence, or energy. Notice it coming down from above and moving through the top of your head, or coming around you, whatever feels the most comfortable for you. This healing light is directing itself at the shape in your body. I would like you to give this wonderful healing light your favorite color. Notice whether this light is warm or cool. Notice its texture, sound, temperature, smell. Notice how the light directs itself towards that shape in your body and how it resonates with it, vibrates with it, holding the shape in and around it. There's plenty of this healing light available to you, as much as you could ever want or need. Notice it more and more. more and more. As you receive this healing light, notice how it transforms the shape. Allow this healing light to move around your body, in your shoulders, arms, hands, legs, feet. Ask this healing light if it has a message for you, possibly an affirmation, words of encouragement, or even a mantra. Receive that message. And when it feels ready for you, Crystal, you can begin.
And continue to lie here. And if you were in a seated position, go ahead and come to a lying position on your mat. Continuing to feel that light. And as you're lying here on your mat, begin to lengthen and broaden your breath. Really feeling that oceanic movement through your body. Noticing if there is an area where that breath wants to move. And with your next inhale, begin to gently float your arms up over your head, stretching above your head and reaching your toes a little bit further in the opposite direction, finding some length on the sides of your body, breathing into that space and softening back toward the earth, maybe letting that tension go. And on your next inhale, we're going to lift our arms up toward the sky so our fingertips are pointing up toward the ceiling. And then we're going to lift our legs up toward the ceiling as well. So our feet are facing the ceiling. Our fingertips are facing the ceiling. And on an inhale, we're going to open our legs and our arms up so that we're coming into a T, opening up the legs. And on the next breath, if it's an inhale or an exhale, it doesn't much matter. We're really just moving with our breath. We're going to cross our arms and our legs in front of each other. With your next breath, we're going to open our arms up again, starting to get a little movement in our joints, maybe feeling the shaking or the tension in our body, crossing our hands over in front of each other, maybe alternating each side, moving with each breath. We'll do this 3 more times. Feeling that play with gravity as it wants to draw your arms toward the earth, and that feeling of your own strength lifting your arms and legs up. And after that third one, we'll go ahead and bring our feet down into bridge prep. So our feet are on our mat, our ankles are just behind our sit bones. And we're gonna bring our elbows alongside our rib cage here. I call them our robot arms, fingertips pointing toward the ceiling here. Really feel into your feet on the earth here. Let your head be heavy. Let your back rest on your mat. And we're going to do just a little movement here to wake up our spine and our muscles so that we can encourage them to release even more. So we're going to turn the volume up by pressing into our feet, drawing our belly to our spine. We're going to lift our hip bones toward the ceiling, feeling that strength of our core, drawing your knees toward one another so they remain parallel here. See if you can lift your hips up just a little bit more, maybe even the bottom of your heart. And we'll stay here for 2 more full rounds of breath, feeling that heat building, feeling that strength of your body. And with that next breath, we're going to lower, slowly pressing the back of our heart down into the earth, eventually allowing our whole spine to come down to the earth. And we're going to do that once more, pressing your feet down into the earth. Lift your hips up toward the sky. Feeling that breath moving through your body, holding your hips up toward the ceiling here. And of course, you can take a break whenever you want. You can do a different movement if that feels good. And with your next breath, we're going to lower the back of the heart, vertebrae by vertebrae, pressing our spine down toward the earth, eventually resting our whole back on the mat. You can let your arms come down to your sides here. And we're gonna press our hips up toward the ceiling, but only about an inch. So go ahead and lift your hips up toward the sky and set your hips over to the right by about an inch. And then we're gonna bring our knees over to the left. So we're going into a little bit of a twist here. So that right knee is staying on top of your left knee. And that right shoulder is going to melt down toward the earth. And you can extend that right hand into a T. Yeah, so your right hand is extending into a T. If it wants to come down a little bit, that's fine. And then you can turn your gaze over to the right, or to the left, excuse me. So your gaze is facing the same way as your knees. You can take your left hand and rest it on top of your right thigh, really allowing that right shoulder to continue to melt down toward the earth. And we're going to be here for about 10 breaths. And notice all those little micro adjustments and micro movements that your body knows how to do as you let yourself unwind in this shape. I like to say that yoga is less about getting your body into a shape and more about feeling your body in a shape. So whatever shape you're in, that's fine. If you can make it 5 to 10% more comfortable, do that. Bringing your awareness back to your breath when your mind wanders. There's nowhere else you need to be, but right here, right now. And take a few more breaths here, sensing into that softening and release. And on that next breath, we're going to bring our gaze back toward the ceiling. And now we're going to bring our feet back to the mat here to lift our hips back to center. So take a minute to let yourself come back to center into bridge position with your heels just behind your sit bones and your spine nice and centered. And now we're going to press into our heels to just lift our hips up enough to scoot our hips over to the left, and we'll drop them down about an inch over to the left. And now take your knees and allow them to fall over to the right. And allow that left shoulder to melt down toward the earth. And you can extend that left hand into a T, palm facing up toward the sky, or a little less than a T. And allow your gaze to fall over to the right. So your knees and your gaze are facing the same direction. And we'll be here for about 10 breaths. You can rest the right hand on the outside of your left knee, if that feels comfortable. And as your body adjusts to this shape, allow it to unwind and resettle as it needs to. Breathing into those areas that are calling for your attention. Allowing that exhale to encourage just a little bit more release as your bones and your muscles get heavier. Coming back to your breath, coming back to this moment. And with that next breath, go ahead and take that left hand and bring it over your body here. And we're going to take that left hand to then just gently press ourselves up into a seated position here. And this is where you can just grab that blanket or that towel. And we're going to come into a seated position here. And I'm just suggesting that you fold that blanket or towel to give you a little bit of a lift underneath your sit bones. Sitting cross-legged can be a little uncomfortable. So this is just helping our spine stay nice and relaxed. And there's no rush here. You can keep that sense of connectedness, that sense of mindfulness in every motion that you do. And once you arrive to a cross-legged position, you can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever feels good here. And we're just going to do some shoulder shrugs here, going nice and slow. Really feeling into the landscape of our shoulders, noticing what we notice, seeing if we can meet that observation with curiosity and compassion. And if not compassion, then at least neutrality, turning the volume down on that judgment or self-critiquing that we are so good at. And now let's go in the other direction here, rotating those shoulders up toward your ears. Just imagining those joints bathed in synovial fluid, staying connected to that breath. And we'll come to stillness here, and we're going to reach our arms out here into a T, palms facing up toward the sky. And on an exhale, we're going to round our spines here a little bit and turn our palms. We're going to twist them around so that our palms are no longer facing the ceiling. Mine can come all the way around, maybe yours can too, but we're doing some medial rotation. So the fronts of your shoulders are rounding. With that next breath, we're going to inhale our palms up facing toward the sky here. And now the insides of my elbows are facing toward the sky, maybe a little arch in the back here. Exhaling, rounding the shoulders forward, rounding the spine here a little bit. Inhaling our palms back up toward the sky, unraveling our arms. Maybe allow your gaze to come up to the ceiling. We'll do this 2 more times, moving with your own breath. And now we'll take that right hand and we'll bring it down to the mat here, pressing your right hand into the mat. Feel into your sit bones, draw in around your midline, and rooting into that left sit bone, lift that right or the left arm up overhead. So we're getting a nice bend and opening here in the left side. And I'm not too concerned with this right shoulder. It's okay if it comes up to my ear. What I'm really looking for is that opening of the rib cage and the hips on that left side. You can allow your gaze to come down to the earth. We'll take about 3 more full rounds of breath here. Feeling that conversation between your left fingertips and your left sit bone. Allowing that breath to be your anchor to this moment. With that next breath, we'll go ahead and have that right hand help us come back to center. And now we'll take that left hand and let it meet the mat. Really feel the texture of the mat under your left fingertips. Help that draw you even more into this moment. Drawing your belly to your spine, really rooting down through that right sit bone. Go ahead and reach that right arm up overhead. Really allowing that left hand pressing to inform the opening on the right side, the opening of that right rib cage. You can allow that gaze to come down toward the earth and take about 3 more full rounds of breath here. Just noticing what you notice in your own body. Noticing those sensations. Maybe there's some emotion or thoughts. Allowing the breath to guide your awareness. And with that next breath, we'll come back to the center here. And we're going to go ahead and come onto our knees now. And we're going to do a child's pose here, but we're going to be in child's pose for a little bit longer than just a few breaths. So if your knees tend to not like that so much, you can take your blanket and you can bring it behind your knees to give a little lift. You can even fold it a little bit more here. Whatever feels comfortable for you. My knees are just a little bit wider than my rib cage. So they're not totally parallel to one another, and they're not as wide as my mat, somewhere in the middle. And we're gonna reach our arms up overhead, feeling into your fingertips, allowing your forehead to come down to the earth. And if your forehead is having a hard time getting all the way down to the earth, this is a good time for a pillow or a block or a book. And we'll just take a few more breaths here with our arms out in front of us. Allowing the breath to open those small spaces between the ribs, letting our sacrum get heavy, softening our jaw, softening our forehead. And with your next breath, you can either leave your arms where they are, or you can bring your arms down so their palms are facing toward the sky and your back is rounding. And your shoulders are melting inward. Maybe you can feel your ribs expanding and contracting with your breath on the insides of your thighs. You can even turn your gaze to one side, so one side of your head is resting to the earth. If you do that, take about 3 breaths on this side, and I'll go ahead and let you know when to turn your gaze to the other side. Really feeling the support of the earth beneath you. Feeling that contact of your own breath. And if your cheek or the side of your head is on the mat, go ahead and gently lift your head to face the other direction now. Continuing to let your spine round and relaxed. Maybe you can feel the warmth of your own skin. Staying with each sensation, staying with each breath. And with that next breath, go ahead and bring your hands on either side and gently press yourself back up. And just take a moment here sitting on your heels, eyes either softly gazing in front of you or closed. Feeling the length of your spine. Noticing that movement of your breath. Really allowing yourself to be fully present in this moment. And we have 2 more postures that I want to do with you guys tonight. But before we get there, I just want to take a moment. We're going to come back to seated with that blanket underneath your sit bones. And I just want to bring in a little bit of touch here with ourselves. So for me, it's comfortable to start here with my hands on my chest, or you can bring, one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly, and just notice what it's like to contact yourself in this way. Maybe there's something you want to say to yourself. Maybe there's something your body has to say to you. Maybe you can feel the tension in your shoulders melting away from your ears, or a softening. And now I want you to take your hands and imagine your hands are these soft, delicate flower petals. And you're kissing your cheeks as you rest your hands on your cheeks like you would rest a flower on a friend's cheek. And we're just going to spend some time here. You can close your eyes. Just let your hands, let your fingers explore the contours of your face as if you were touching the face of someone you love. Notice what it's like to receive that touch. Notice what it's like to give that touch. And we're gonna eventually allow the fatter parts of our thumbs to find the pockets of our closed eyes. And we'll just gently press our thumb pads, into our eyes. Just feeling that pressure here. And let yourself take in this rich, velvety stillness. In this darkness, maybe there's some textures, some colors behind your eyelids. And we'll go ahead and bring our hands back down to our knees here, just taking a moment to reflect. And with our next posture, if a wall is accessible to you, we're going to do legs up the wall. And so when I get to the wall, I usually like to bring one hip up close to the wall. You can even do a doorway, a closed door. You don't need too much space, but I bring my hip directly up to the wall and I lay my back down and pivot my hips close into the wall here so that my glutes are flush against the wall. And you can take a little bend in your knees here too. If you don't have a wall, you can just come into bridge prep here. We're gonna take some nice, long, luxurious moments here, allowing all of the blood and lymph to flow through our legs into our organs. And my arms are at a relaxed T. My palms are facing toward the sky. I'm going to be here for about 10 more breaths. And you don't have to keep track. I'll keep track for you. Really feeling the weight of your legs pouring down into your hips. And just like your hands gently knew how to contact your face, allow your breath to contact you, this life force moving through you. Continue to let your heels rest against the wall, maybe making any micro adjustments. Letting the backs of your legs relax and soften.
You're not hungry?
I am, but I don't know what I want.
There's a whole salmon steak.
I would put it on salad, but I don't know if I feel like salad.
I think somebody might want to put themselves on mute. I'm gonna just try and mute everybody here. No worries, everybody stay comfy, I got you. We're gonna gently allow our legs to fall over to one side. Your legs are up on the wall. You can gently bring them over to one side. And then bring your arm over to gently press yourself up into a seated position. And we're gonna make our way to our final resting shape. And so if you have your blanket, you can go ahead and get it ready to cover you. You want a little extra comfort. And this is a good time for that pillow. If you have a pillow, you can bring that underneath your knees. Just to give a little extra comfort to yourself here. So take your time here, getting really comfortable in your Shavasana, allowing your body to make those little adjustments, maybe turning your neck from side to side, maybe encouraging your shoulders down away from your ears. Allow your arms to rest a little further away from your body with your palms facing toward the ceiling. And allow your breath to move however it wants to move here. Maybe there's some big sighs. Maybe it's a less deep breath. Either way is fine. And just like our breath and our hands know how to make contact with ourselves, allow your awareness to make that gentle contact with your body. Allow that awareness to flow down from the top of your head into the back of your neck and your shoulders, encouraging those places to soften and relax just a little bit more. Allowing that awareness to flow down through your arms, down the front of your heart and the back of your heart, encouraging your arms to soften, encouraging your chest to soften. Letting your bones feel heavy, letting your muscles relax. Allowing that awareness to pour down through your belly, down the length of your spine, around your pelvis and your hips. Allowing that awareness to pour down through your legs. Eventually down through your feet. Feeling your whole body here at ease, held by the earth. Maybe it's dynamic movement like the ocean with your breath, a gentle flowing. A healing cadence. We'll be here in silence for a few moments. And in this calm space, in this nourishing, dynamic stillness, I'm going to read a poem, and I'm going to read it twice. So allow the words to wash over you. Staying connected to your breath. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches. And they call again. "It's simple," they say. "And you too have come into this world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine." When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves and call out, stay a while. The light flows from their branches. And they call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into this world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine. Continue to notice what you notice here. Maybe feeling that light. Maybe feeling that peace. And gently and lovingly bring a little movement to your fingers and toes and sense into which side of your body you would like to roll over. And slowly begin to roll over toward that side of your body, feeling the weight shifting from your back to your side. And eventually lift yourself up into a seated position. And once you get there, we'll take a final moment here to just really feel into your body. And I invite you to bring your hands into this beautiful flower mudra. So my pinkies are touching each other, my thumbs are touching each other, and my hands are opening like a flower or a daffodil or a lotus. And you can draw your hands in toward your heart here, and you can have your eyes either softly gazing in front of you or closed. And in this moment, feel the fullness of your cup. Feel the fullness of this moment. You can imagine that your hands are opening to receive all of the love that is available to you right now and always. And now I want you to think about Sharon. It's okay if you don't personally know her. You can picture her in your mind's eye. And you can imagine all of this love that is full and coursing through you, now lifting up through your hands, through this flower, making its way to her, contacting her like those sweet flower petals that touched your face earlier. You can imagine that love contacting her. Finding its way to her in just the way it needs. And with that next breath, you can allow your hands to now gently rest on your heart, one on top of the other, feeling into your sit bones, feeling into your spine, continuing to feel into this moment. I want to take a moment to thank the lineages that informed our practice this evening. And thank you so much for taking this time with me and each other. Namaste. And if anybody wants to share anything, please feel free to do so. We did go over a little bit here, so if you need to jet on out, that's fine. And if you just want to stay in that calm, relaxed place too, that's good.
That was really beautiful, Crystal. That was really
Thank
beautiful. Yeah, it's really good. Mm,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Oh, it's just showered in love. It's so good.
Good.
Thank you so much, Crystal. It was so wonderful and healing. And I
You're
know,
so welcome.
I know Sharon's feeling all the love. She was here for a moment, and
Oh,
I know
good.
she was able to get a sense of it, and I'm sure she's feeling all the love everybody's sending her.
Good. Yeah. Well, just in case anyone hasn't seen yet, Rayleigh recorded a really beautiful sound bath for Sharon as well, and the link to that sound bath is in the chat. And I'll post that link to the Facebook event page as well after this. So that's some more loving goodness. Thank you, Rayleigh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rayleigh.
Of course.
Have a good night, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so
Take
much for
care.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.